If you are no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stop judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm so happy to have you here with me. We are going to be talking about another topic that I find interesting, and I watch a great deal of people, including myself. I've done this as well, where we are putting our focus, where we are making choices that are actually not assisting us. So last week, the show was Come Out From Under the Humble Tree. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who messaged me, contacted me regarding that show, and how much, they have shared how that show has touched them. And I am thrilled because, you know what, that's what we do here on the Inspired Choices radio show and the Inspired Choices Network with all of our amazing hosts. We really do step forward with what we know with a desire to contribute to other people. So that is, it really does touch my heart. And if there is a subject that you would love to hear about, that you would love to talk about more and more and more, seriously, please contact me, because nothing is more engaging for anybody on the radio when they know that someone's desiring for them to speak to a subject. And what I do know is that when we're doing this together, we're changing things, and we're changing things big time. So, as I said, last week was Come Out From Under the Humble Tree. I can tell you that I know this personally for myself and for many other people who are radio show hosts, that when we're actually stepping up and we're showing up and we're creating on our own shows, that while we're speaking to everyone else, we're also speaking to ourselves at the same time. So I wonder how many people out there right now, they have challenges in their life and they're making themselves wrong and judging themselves that they couldn't possibly be on the radio. They couldn't possibly step forward with their messages. Well, you know what? I'll tell you time and time again, when I became a coach, I doubted myself because I had problems. I had issues in my life, right? And I thought, how can I speak to other people? I actually had someone that's no longer in my life actually say, oh, how could you ever be a coach? You're so blanked up, right? And I'm like, it really took me back initially. But I'll tell you what's really going on is that we are actually diving in deep, and we are moving through those challenges ourselves, and we become some of the most authentic coaches, some of the most authentic people that can support others when we're willing to do our stuff, when we are willing to really dive in deep and move beyond that. So in regards to last week about coming out from under the humble tree, I'm wondering how many of you have challenged yourself to actually follow through on that, to actually claim, own, and acknowledge the capacities, the brilliance, the gifts, just the sheer presence that you have that changes your world and changes other people's worlds. I can tell you that I challenged myself over the last week, and I've been stepping in and leaning in more and stopping the doubting, stopping the being really, really humble about what I am doing in the world and what I am creating. And I know that that's changing things for me. So what if you actually stepped up more in your world and you started to change these things? What would that create for you? So if this is the first time you are hearing me, let me tell you a quick little bit about myself. I am a possibilities coach, and I have been coaching now for over 10 years. I was in human resources for more than 20 years, and right now where I am is I've really leaned into the coaching and into the business consulting. Those are two areas that absolutely light me up. And, I do a lot of different things. I have a lot of different programs, radio show host, TV show host, published author, speaker. I do a lot of things. And one of the things that really propels me forward is looking at these type of topics and being willing to speak to them and dive into them deep with myself. Because when something comes through, when a topic jumps for me, oftentimes, and this has not always been fun, oftentimes I will actually in advance work through a challenge regarding that topic. And then when I get to the radio show, I have amazing content to go forward with. So it's kind of wacky and weird, but it's always a contribution. So if you're interested in coaching 101 or learning more about coaching, or perhaps you're interested in having your own radio show, I actually am the owner of the Inspired Choices Network, and you know what? I do what I love, and talking is one of the things that I love, and getting people's messages out there is one of the things that I love. So for me, if this is something that intrigues you, you're just curious about it, let's connect. You can do so at Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. And also, I also do energy work and as I said, business coaching, which turns me on and lights me up. So you can check out everything that I do at my personal website, inspiredchoices.ca. You can get me all over the internet, and you can just call me too if you'd like. So let's get on with tonight's show. Tonight's show is about, are you scanning for problems or possibilities? Now, let me ask you guys, do you wake up in the morning excited to jump out of bed and create your day in your job or your business with your family, whatever it is that you do on a day-to-day basis? Or do you wake up and immediately sigh, oh, God, and you see all the problems and what you have to deal with in a day? Where are you at? What, truthfully, be truth. Ask yourself the truth. Where are you at? I can remember so many times not opening my eyes, but coming awake and thinking, oh gosh, I just want to go back to sleep. Because what I really saw in front of me, what I was only willing to see, were the problems. So are you scanning for problems? And you know what, if you are somebody that can scan for problems, it's a great capacity. But it can also bring you down into a very dark night, down a very shady alley. But if you're not there, fabulous. But what if you could actually start scanning for possibilities? If you were to get really real with yourself, would you change the survival mentality to one of massive prosperity? Do you know what? And I might get some people not agreeing with me on that, and this is okay. But you know what? Problems, just like everything else in your life, problems are a choice. And so are possibilities. They are both a choice. So tell me, my friends, what are you choosing? What are you choosing to scan for and be with in your life? Where are you looking throughout your day? Now, let me be really clear about something. The problems in your life are not going to magically disappear, right? They're not going to suddenly evaporate, or there's not a lot of crazy people in the world that are going to stop being crazy, okay? If there are people in your life, if there are people in your business that are crazy, that are choosing what they're choosing, they're not suddenly going to go away when you are scanning for the possibilities, when you're putting your attention over on the possibilities. They're still going to choose what they're going to choose. But the impact that it has on you, that it has on what you're going to choose to focus on and the direction that you're going to choose to go in, whether they go or not, that's where you start to change things. That's where you start to move out of repeating, enhancing, blasting beyond where you desire to be. That's where it will change. You will no longer be in that energy of problems. Think of it like this. You're walking down a road, and this isn't a very big, clever analogy, but it's one that bears repeating. You're walking down a road, and you come to a fork in the road, and you take the fork to the right. And as you're walking down the fork to the right, you're walking through puddles and potholes, and there's a lot of smoke in the air, and it's just like, oh my gosh, every time you turn around, there is a problem. Now, you might be a great problem seeker. Maybe you're somebody that fixes roads. Maybe you're the fire department, and you can go discover what's causing this smoke. Maybe you're somebody that can go and you can organize things so that they're in a better state of affairs. Fabulous. That would be a great contribution to that side of the road. But let me ask you, if every time you come to the fork in the road, you turn down that path, knowing you're scanning for where do you need to be fixing things, where are the problems in your life, how daunting, how exhausting, how actually really depressing would that eventually become for you if you're somebody that's always, always, always walking down that fork. Yeah, it can get really intense. Now, let's say you come to the fork in the road, and let's say for every day of your life, you've turned to the right. What if you turned to the left? What if you took a different path? What if you said, you know what, I know that there's problems over there to deal with, but right now I'm going to scan for what really is possible. I am going to be looking out to the landscape of my life, and I'm going to be looking for the possibilities. Can you feel the change in that? Can you just feel the energy, how it can be so different when you're scanning for the possibilities? Now, one thing we absolutely positively know is what we focus on absolutely expands, right? If you're somebody that's having problems, let's say you're having problems with your mother or your father, right? Every time they go to open their mouth, you're going to find a problem with it. You're going to be like, oh my God, there they are again, right? And it's going to show up because you're looking for it. You're digging for it. So if you're looking for problems like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do today to pay the bills? What do I need to do today to get clients? What do I need to do today to deal with my kids, right? If you're looking from it from that perspective as though it is a problem, you're going to have that show up more and more and more in your life. I am in no means trying to diminish anyone who right now in their life has challenges, because, I could sit here on this radio show and talk about all of the challenges I've ever had in my life. I absolutely can. Challenges are real. I'm not saying that they're not. But what I'm saying is that we actually have a choice, and we were not taught that we had a choice. We have a choice to look at our lives. Yeah, a lot of people say, get real. This is what I just heard in my head. This is my reality. Get real. Okay, that's your reality. But what do you desire to create? What do you desire to have? What is it that you want to show up and really manifest in your life that's not there now? Because if you have problems now and that's what you keep looking to, that's what you keep scanning every day, you're just going to keep mitered down in that. It's like a heavy quicksand that's going to pull you deeper and deeper and deeper. You begin to lose your momentum. You begin to feel overloaded, and is this ever going to change? That energy when we keep scanning for the problems. And how many of us, put up your hands, how many of us have actually said, but it's real, We've defended. We've been in the energy of defense for our problems, right? I know I have. I've done it many times, and I'm not saying I won't do it again, right? But here's the thing. As we continue to say, okay, this isn't working for me. What do I really desire? This is where you can take a step back and look at what you've been choosing. Not from a place of judgment. Absolutely not. Scan what you've chosen in the past. Okay, so I was choosing this, and I chose this, and I chose this. Okay, so what's working for me and what's not? When a lot of these problems are coming up, they actually contribute to being the contrast to what it is that you desire in your life. So how many of you have the problems as the contrast that we keep staying stuck on and focused on? We're going to go to our first break. When we come back, we're going to jump over into the possibilities. We're going to talk more about possibilities. I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to come and join us in the chat room, inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Bring your questions in, or feel free to call in. In the U.S., 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. So when we get back, we're going to continue this conversation, scanning for problems or possibilities. You're listening to myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Do you want the world to be greater? Are you a seeker, and do you know more is possible? Together, we can make it happen. Join us for the 22nd Century Consciousness Showcase. More than 20 movers and shakers in the world of empowerment will unveil their strategies for creating dynamic future success. All our speakers will invite and inspire you with their visions in the exciting world of consciousness. Each of them have put together amazing promotional packages with extraordinary pricing that will be available to you just for participating with us. The showcase begins June 11th and runs through June 15th. Join us at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com to never miss any of the amazing video conversations and fabulous offerings. We look forward to creating the future consciousness with you.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, so happy you're here tonight. We are talking about, are you scanning for problems or possibilities? Before we get back to the show, I just want to let you know, you heard that commercial about the 22nd Century Consciousness Showcase. This is a huge event, never been done before, that we're doing here on the Inspired Choices Network. We have 20-plus conscious leaders who are going to be stepping up. We're going to be doing video interviews that you can actually join us on live. And we're going to be taking your questions, and we're going to be speaking to the future of consciousness and how each and every one of us has something to contribute, that has something that we are creating now for the future of consciousness. It's going to be an epic event. It starts June the 11th through the 15th, and each and every one of the hosts, I can't tell you, I've got all these secrets I can't wait to unveil, but all of these hosts have amazing packages they've put together that you can take advantage of. Oh my gosh, anything from classes to events to books to recordings, all things, all in between, all over the place. That they have created, and you're going to be able to take advantage of these massive discounted packages. And my personal interview, so I am actually the person that's going to be interviewing the majority of these wonderful leaders, and I actually have my dear friend, my colleague, my sister in Crazy Creations, Rhonda Burns, who's actually going to be interviewing me on Thursday, June the 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would absolutely love for you to come and be with us during these recordings. They are going to be phenomenal and epic. And so you need to register. Please go to the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com website. You will see it's all over there where you can go to register. And once you register, you'll get all the call-in Zoom links as well as all the replays after the fact. So let's get back to the show. So actually, it's interesting. My bestie and who's producing me tonight is Rhonda Burns. You all have probably heard me talk about her before. If not, you need to check her out. She's got a radio show called Coming Undone with the Tenacious Minx, and man, is she tenacious. And we did a radio show this morning that was so phenomenal. And I really do get that the two radio shows, the one that we did together this morning and this one tonight, kind of can contribute to each other. So I'm asking Rhonda to come join me live right now during the show so we can talk about more about possibilities. So this morning's show was... You scared me.
Here. Ask and receive, baby.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny how you scared me. You're the second person that scared me today. That's funny. Okay, take a breath, Christine. All right, so the show this morning was bad business practices, right?
Yeah, are you guilty of bad business practices? Yep.
Sure. Thank you. And I love doing that show with you because, I am business. I love doing business, and I think it's so pleasurable. But there are a great deal of bad business practices out there. And what's phenomenal to me when we look at problems and possibilities, shit happens, right? People do crazy-ass shit. And let's say somebody does some crazy-ass shit with you. What do you do, Rhonda? Do you go into the problem of it, or do you go into the, kind of take a step back from it and look at it from, okay, so what's possible here? Initially.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, well, previous to the last 7 years, everything was a problem. It's like, oh, crap, right? And then, of course, I always went to the wrongness of me, right, because it was always probably my fault, even though it never was. But I took responsibility for it. It was crazy. Now, the way that I function is when I receive something, and sometimes if it's more upsetting or it's more triggered or charged, depending on the subject matter, I sit and I breathe. And I say, okay, right? I always know that whoever sent it, whatever's coming at me, that person is in whatever space they're in. So I don't take it personally anymore. And I do ask, what's right about this, right? Show me what's required of me in this. And yeah, great question. What else is possible here? Are three things that I play with.
Cool. So what was it that had you move from scanning for the problem to scanning for the possibilities? Was there like a catalyzing moment?
Yes, I will tell you, and it's my platform. It doesn't feel good. Problems don't feel good, and I am absolutely 1,000 million billion gazillion % all about feeling good, because when I feel good, I know I'm being me, I'm in alignment with who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing, and problems don't feel good. Now, like you said earlier, challenges still creep up, but it's how we respond, how we frame it that matters. And so when an issue, a challenge, a concern shows itself, the onus is on me to frame it in a way that feels good to me in order for me to handle it to my greatest and highest good. Yeah.
Awesome. That's fabulous. And yeah, you are always talking about it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And sometimes it makes me crazy when you say that all the time.
But again, right, that's my compass. Your compass is different in the way that you express it. That's all that is.
Exactly.
Yep.
But it's very, very cool because when we're talking about the problems, when the stuff comes up and whatever people are choosing to do, when there are times, like when we were talking about bad business practices today, there are times when you have to step in and you have to deal with the problem. This is not woohoo, bury your head in the sand, go dance in the rainbows. This is not about not doing life. This is the real deal, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But when you literally keep giving that energy of, this is the problem, like poor me, victim me, this is the problem, why'd they do that? When you have any of that going on in your reality, you keep expanding or giving greater roots to the problem in your life. And when you do that, you have got blinders on. You cannot see the possibilities because, and this is what Shelley Speaks, who does Money, Abundance, and You, she was on tonight. She was literally talking about this, is the minute that you do this, you put these blinders on when you are in judgment of something. It's like concrete walls go up all around you, and you cannot see the possibilities. The possibilities cannot come into you. There cannot be, the universe can't contribute to you. You can't receive nudges from other people. Like you literally, cut off your hearing in a lot of cases. Has that ever happened to you, Rhonda, where you're like, I didn't hear you say that to me? Like, yeah, because you're so mired down in it.
Yeah, we're so in the muck of our judgment and our point of view, and so that is all it literally does put on blinders, and that is all you're capable of seeing, hearing, or receiving. And that's what I was going to say to that point is everything. Let's say you've got somebody coming at you with like a really challenging, intense situation, email, right, firing, whatever it is. Usually when we go into our emotional state, probably old core wounds, right? Like value stuff, worthiness stuff. Will they like me? That's the stuff that gets us, quote unquote, in trouble. But when we are clear, I know who I am. I know what's required here. I know this person doesn't mean me any harm, and I'm not going to hold this against them. But what's required now? Even in those challenging, difficult situations, if there's no emotion in it, there's no judgment in it, you can go back in a very powerful and present way to say, okay, and here is what's possible. This is, the reality, and you don't have to take it personally. You don't have to, go into offense and stuff. So that I wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, challenges do happen, but it's how you decide to respond and get out of your own way, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I just going back to the write-up, what came to me is like, when you're waking up in the morning, what are you scanning for? Like, what do I have to do today, right? And the energy of that have to, any time we're in that have to or that should energy, please know somewhere in your reptilian brain, you have got this pattern in place where you are looking for the problems. They may not come out of your mouth like it's a problem, right? But like I remember when I was a young mom and, my kids are just in their early 20s. Okay, they're beyond grade school and high school. Okay, but when they were little, like I would wake up and I'd be like, okay, what do I have to do today? Right? And I loved being with my kids. But it was this energy of problems. What do I have to deal with? What's going to happen today, right? It's not this energy of jumping out of bed, those there were those days where I would jump out of bed, I'd be so excited, I'd go into their bedroom and I would be tickling them and we'd be laughing and like, hey, we're going to do this today. And, it's that energy is fabulous. But most people wake up with the what do I have to do today? And it's not that we don't have to do stuff. It's the energy of it being a problem or not enjoyable, not fun. Like, I usually have 10 too much stuff to do. Like, I've always got more going on. I know about myself. I have to have a lot of stuff in front of me. It actually works as a motivator. It keeps the momentum going in my creation. I know that about me. I'm very clear with that. And now I've been able to see that and not go into beyonds about it, right? But if every day I came in and I looked at my desk, I was like, oh my God, look at all this shit I have to do. And, I would eventually blow up my business. Right? Yeah. Like, you wouldn't stay in it if you're in that energy. You know what? We blow up marriages. We blow up friendships. We blow up jobs. We blow up our bodies when we come at it from that perspective time and time again. So I'm curious, all of the listeners out there, how many times are you actually scanning for where's the problem? You know, we're not taught to scan for the possibilities for the most part in this reality. We're not taught by our parents. We're not taught by our employers, right? For the most part, we're taught we have to fix what's not working. But that's not actually expanding beyond. That's not creating more. That is really trying to keep your neck up above the waterline, right? It's like, oh my God, I've got to fix this problem so I don't fall farther down. So what is it that we really desire in our lives that we can change? So when we come back from the break, I'd love to talk about some tools that we can be using to really look at, recognize, first of all, when we're going into problems, and what we can do to quickly divert that onto the other path of possibilities. So you're listening to myself, Christine McIver, and my impromptu guest, Rhonda the Crazy Lady Burns. And when we get back, we'll continue to talk about, are you scanning for problems or possibilities? Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, for sticking around to play with problems and possibilities. So why is this really, really important? And I know Rhonda's still with us right now. Why is it really important for us to pay attention to where we are scanning? What do you got for that, Rhonda?
Great question. And actually, if it's cool, I will share a very personal story with people that is something that happened just recently with me, who is a personal development expert. I'm a coach. I've been to coach training, been coaching for years. I do this for a living. So I have a plethora of tools. I have a mecca of tools and techniques. And I found myself in a very, very dark place. And some people call it dark night of the soul, and some people have lots of them. Some people never have them anyway. So I didn't actually realize what was going on with me. But every day, no matter what I attempted to get up and focus on, I just kept feeling like I was being dragged back into this problem space, right? Like I felt like Pigpen. This stench just kept following me no matter what. And so I don't know what started it. It doesn't matter for the story, but what I do know is that what really helped me change it, to start to change it, was, again, what I mentioned earlier. I was tired of feeling like crap. I was tired of talking about how bad things were. No matter how I try, it's not turning right. It's all that rah, rah, rah. And I finally made a demand. So here's the tool, people. I made a demand of myself. And it went like this. I don't freaking care, and there was a lot of F-bombs in this. I don't freaking care what this is. I don't care where it started. I don't care what it's about. I'm fucking done with it. And I said, I will get whatever information I am to get from this, but for right now, I am done feeling bad. And whatever is going on, it changes now. And something in the energy of that, I truly was done with it because it started to change. I could feel it energetically change immediately. And then my task was to every single day, every single moment, stay focused on what I was focusing on. For me, the thing that changes everything faster than anything else for me, some people it's joy, some people it's happiness and bliss and pleasure, success. Mine is, in fact, pleasure. So when I focused on pleasure, and it could be the sun on my face, a salt bath, it didn't matter. When I focused 1,000% on pleasure, shift by shift by shift, I came out of that darkness. And it happened very quickly.
That's
there you go.
Awesome.
Do with it what you will.
And Rhonda is my dear, dear friend, and I've been with her on this journey as she has been with me on my journey, and it's been a challenge for both of us to be with each other and to allow ourselves to be with our shit until we changed it, until we moved into a new space with this. And what you were speaking to, Rhonda, is that energy, the dominatrix energy, the making the demand that you, above everything and everyone else, you are going to change it. And that, that energy, that's what I speak to in my book that's coming out very soon, is when you really have your own back, no matter what is occurring, you keep your eye on the damn prize. So you've got to figure out, you've got to get really super clear. And I think so there's two things. My head is going so fast right now. Oh my gosh. You've got to get really clear about what it is that you want in your life, you desire in your life, and then you've got to figure out how to get clear. So one of the big things that you and I talk about a lot of our colleagues speak about, is what is going on in your body. Your body is a absolute gold mine of information that will tell you so easily and so quickly that there is a problem. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's like you don't even have to use your brain half the time. If you would start to use some body practices to connect with your body, perhaps it's meditating, right? Perhaps it's just scanning your body and where is the intensity in your body. Or perhaps it's every time you connect with a certain person or you go and do something, or when you start to scan for the problems, something occurs in your body. Your body is basically saying, yo, Christine, wake up. There's something going on here. We're trying to show you where you're kind of bumping up against a wall. And it, truthfully, I know for myself, when I've acknowledged that, the intensity that was going on in my body leaves really fast. And right, and it's literally your guide. It's literally your map to, yo, you went down that wrong path. No, turn right. Go right. No, now turn left. And it literally will start to show you, oh. And as you practice this again and again and again, and you allow your body to be this guide for you, that's where you start to get more into the clarity. So if you're speaking to someone, right, let's say there's a family member that you connect with, and every time you connect with them, you get your throat just like gets so tight, and or maybe you get a headache, right? And every single time you do this, and then you're like, wait a second, and you go to connect with that person. Maybe you want to yell at them, or you want to respond to them, right? And you start to get this headache, and you go, okay, hold on a second. The last time I spoke to them, I got this headache. Okay, I'm not going to choose this right now. Now, you can choose it eventually, but what if you started to play with that and you literally said, okay, I'm not going to choose this right now. and watch what begins to occur. You get clear then about, you know what? I don't actually desire to have someone that is confrontational in my life. I don't actually desire to have someone who is a pain in my neck. Do you ever get neck pains? That's one of the things that my body does with with me. I get these neck pains very easily, and then I go, okay, wait a minute. Where is somebody being a pain in the neck to me? Where is this actually a pain in my neck, what I'm choosing? What is it that I'm choosing that's creating this in my body? And as I've done and continued to practice with these tools and go, oh, what are you showing me, body? It gets so clear so fast. Oh, this is actually not a contribution to me. This is actually not something that is actually creating greater in my life. Did you see the message from Abraham this morning, Rhonda?
Every morning. Yes, indeed.
Every morning.
Love me some Tut, love me some Abe.
Tut and Abe, they're bookends to our beginning of our day, and that's another fabulous tool. What are you filling your mind up with? Are you watching the news, or are you reading something that is inviting you into being greater with yourself? Literally, what are you doing? I rarely watch the news. Rarely. And a lot of people think it's blindsidedness on my part. No, it's not. It's because it literally creates havoc in my body when I do that a lot. And it's not that I'm not aware. I will go read, the titles of stuff. Okay, cool, and then I'll move on. But one of the big things is today, actually, with the Abraham messages that I thought was so cool. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm doing this radio show, and this is what this is about. It's so cool. So it was basically something to the effect of, if you have something negative going on, and you have also something neutral happening, right? Most people will actually choose the negative over the neutral energy. Did you catch that this morning? And
actually, I've got it right here. Yeah, you want me to?
Okay, read it for us, please. Yeah.
Yeah, you will always, almost always, most of you choose negative emotion over no emotion, because emotion indicates desire. It's exciting, and that's it.
Right, it's exciting. So how much does this negative energy, the problem energy, actually turn us on? Right? It becomes, what is that? I can't get the word. It's like a magnet because of the intensity. We like the intensity, and problems oftentimes has the same energy of excitement, right? So it has an intensity to it, and we get addicted to intensity. So I wonder truthfully how much people are actually seeking. It's nearly like an addiction to intensity, and what it is they're actually being pulled into problems.
Yes,
are you addicted?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm addicted. Well, and also, like, here's the thing. Problems work for us. They really do until they stop. So what if we actually looked at problems as a catalyst, right? What if problems are actually trying to channel us in a different direction? And until we're done with it feeling bad, as I mentioned, right, and until we get the memo, if you will, we're going to choose problems because something about it is working for us. And we won't change it until we're good and gosh darn ready. And
right. I totally agree with you.
Personally, I like feeling good. Personally, I like feeling good. We've covered that.
Right. But yes. Ron, if nobody heard this, Rhonda loves feeling good. But here's the challenge that we're speaking to, Smarty Pants. Here's the challenge that we're speaking to. A lot of people believe I've got to take care of the problems. I've got to take care of the problems. I've got to fix the problems. I've got to focus on the problems. I've got to handle the problems before I can move into the possibilities, before I can create.
Yep.
Truthfully, I've seen it. I hear people, but I can't do that until I do this. I can't actually bring my voice to the world until I've got my finances figured out. I can't actually step up and dance until I've lost this weight. I can't actually, engage in intelligent conversation until I actually have dealt with my divorce, right? And that's all bull. That's all bull.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us are literally focusing on getting everything fixed up before we will actually choose into the possibilities? But here's the thing. What you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. And if you keep looking to the problems, you will attract that exact same energy to you again and again and again. And you've got to, like you said, you bump your nose, you've got to fall down enough times before you will start to choose into the possibilities. But here's what I know. I absolutely positively know that when you are willing to challenge yourself to come out of that addiction and go, okay, I have a choice here. I have a choice point here right now. I can go down that problem street or I can go down that possibility street. The choice is mine. So what are you going to choose?
Awesome, totally. And I have a visual for people who are visual. Here's a great one, and it speaks to hire somebody, right? Because many times we cannot and probably should not do this on our own, at least to get started, right, to get the momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
But so a consultant is basically someone who goes into an organization or business and tells them all the things that could be done different, that could be better. They are problem solvers. They are also possibility creators. But when let's say you're the company president, and stuff has fallen down, and you're in all of these problems, and you were doing your darndest to create solutions, when you were in the midst of that problem, you cannot find the solution. You just can't, because you're coming at it from the problem. But a consultant comes in from the outside with a different perspective and starts to shine light. Yes, they scan and see the problem, but they also shine the light on the possibilities and the direction and the different trajectory and things that can be put in place to alter the course. So the gist is, you might think about hiring somebody to help you get this ball rolling, but also you can't solve problems, like you just said. You can't solve a problem from a problem as a problem while you're in the problem, because all you're going to get is more problems.
It's absolutely true. It completely makes sense.
Okay, cool.
And the thing is that, I'm a coach, you're a coach. We have a huge tribe of people we know that are phenomenal coaches. And, there's a lot of bad rap out there from coaches because they're about coaches because, whatever. A lot of people just put a sign on the wall and they're not professionally trained like many of us are. But here's the thing. When you are in it and you are trying to change it, having somebody work with you, like you said, a consultant, Rhonda, having somebody work with you that has a vested interest in the outcome that you choose is not going to contribute to you. So if you have a girlfriend or you have a family member or you have a boyfriend and they put their point of view in, they're actually giving you a point of view. They're not actually helping you to step back and scan the landscape for what you have been choosing, what's been keeping you stuck, and how you can create greater. So when you actually have someone who's been professionally trained, they can move you so quickly with such phenomenal tools that it'll shock you. Most people actually don't believe it can change that fast. We know it can. We absolutely know it can. So are you committed, folks? Are you committed to moving your life in the direction of possibilities? Or is this just too exciting? Is it just too fulfilling? Is it giving you too much to complain and bitch about? I mean, I was someone who complained and bitched all the time. And there was an energy to it, right, Rhonda? And then you're like, okay, hang on a second here. Why am I doing this? Why do I keep doing this? And what is it that I really desire? And you've got to be willing to look at your choices and be straight up, not from a place of judgment, but be straight up with yourself about, okay, if I choose this, like I did the last 16 times, am I going to create the same thing?
Right.
And when you're working with someone who's a professional coach, they may ask you, so has this ever occurred for you? So what happened the last time? And what is it that you desire? It's very easeful for a professionally trained coach to stand back with absolutely no energy and ask you those questions. You are able then to start looking at it. So if you're stuck, I strongly recommend reaching out to a brilliant coach. Rhonda's a brilliant coach. I'm a brilliant coach. Lots of brilliant coaches in the world. We have phenomenal ways that you can work with us no matter where you are in the world. And, you know, if your life is not working for you, what are you willing to do to change it? Are you willing to look at all of these ways that you're choosing problems? Are you really willing to look at how you have the choice and you have the power to change it, but you're the only one that can change it? So I guess we've gone in lots of different directions tonight.
But it's all so good.
Yeah, what else do you want to say, Rhonda?
Well, I think what's coming up for me is because some words really float my boat and get me really amped up, and some words, they're okay. So if Christine is speaking of possibilities, right, it's that level of enthusiasm and the level of expansiveness and greater for your life, as opposed to problems that have this really low vibrationally dense, sense to them. They don't freaking feel good, as I've covered. So if possibility isn't your trigger word that gets you going, find a word that does. So I no longer scan for problems, I scan for pleasure. I no longer scan for problems, I scan for joy. That's what I'm talking about. Find the word that matches the energy of what is going to amp you to move it in the direction, move the dial in a way that really does work for you. That's all I'm going to say.
You're bang on. You are bang on, sister. You know what, my friends? Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Glad your show's almost over. I might get myself in trouble. My friends, whether you like to imagine, you like to dream, you like to inspire, what is it? Like Rhonda says, look for the word, look for the thing. But if you stay in the same place, if you keep your feet planted in the exact same location, you will not be able to move forward in your place of desire. And what I absolutely know is no situation, nothing that you have ever been in has to stay that way. But it cannot change until you choose it. What are you willing to choose? What direction are you willing to go in? And what's it worth to you? Like, seriously, what's it worth to you? Lots of times I've had people say to me, and I've said to other people, what is it going to cost you if you don't do this? What is it going to cost you if you don't begin to change what you are focusing on and where you are actually molding your life? Because there's always going to be more things to be challenged with. But when you really get strong with the tools and you really get strong with the demand that you're going to have your own back no matter what, and you're going to be in pleasure, you're going to be in possibility, you're going to be in joy or fun, no matter where you are in your life, that's what starts to change it. It's that willingness and that demand energy for your life and your living that begins to change it. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. I so appreciate it. Rhonda, thank you for the impromptu guest appearance on tonight's show. It's been a fabulous day here on the Inspired Choices Network. We're so happy you're here. Remember, come out next week, register for the 22nd Century Consciousness Show, and we will see you there. We will see you on all of the interviews, and you'll get a taste of these amazing packages. So remember, my friends, you can always make another choice. Until next time.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.